There we go. All right. So hopefully that was okay. So we had a triple beam balance. Did you, when you recorded the measurement, remember to write, what are we measuring in this question? That's the unit in which we are measuring. So yes, we would have to have 577.67 grams. What else is missing from that answer the way it is? What we are measuring. What are we measuring? We are measuring the salt solution in a beaker. And what are we measuring about it? We are measuring its mass. So you would have to write mass of salt solution plus beaker. That's if you were writing it for a lab. Okay, so if I say on any upcoming quizzes or tests, I would like you to record it as though it were for a lab. You need to have those three things. Number one, you need to tell me what you are measuring. Number two, you have to have the number with the uncertain digit. And number three, you have to have the unit. Oh, and I've written that where it says measuring device. And this measuring device is not a quadruple beam balance, it is a triple beam balance, and we agreed that there were 5 sig figs there. Did anyone have any questions from any of the other things from the homework? Okay. In that case, I would like to where are we going today? We are going to go, how is the counting sig figs rules in practice? 1.5a, how did that go? Is there anyone who didn't complete it? Please be honest, it's okay. I'm not gonna get mad at you. Anyone who didn't complete it, okay? Make sure you have tried it so that you know if you have any difficulties with it, because I would like to have a quiz on counting sig figs on Wednesday. Okay, so a quiz on counting sig figs on Wednesday. It's not a big deal. It's like, just know your zero rules. Okay, yes. Yes, of course. Okay, so quiz on counting sig figs. Yes, page 98. So 98, there's some questions there. If you are wanting extra practice between now and Thursday, there is counting sig figs extra practice on page 99. Okay, so that would be 1.5b. So you can do that as extra practice. I'll put the quiz up on Teams. So quiz on counting sig figs on Wednesday. Extra practice is 1.5b, B, not H. There we go. Okay. In the meantime, I would like us to start looking at exponents, because exponents will lead us to being able to do scientific notation. So let us go to 1.6a, page 105. Page 105. So on your page, you've got several examples. I'm going to rewrite them out here so we can think them through together, but you don't have to write them down because they are in your book. Up to you whether you want to write them somewhere. So we have, first of all, our, oh, if I can get my pen working. Uh-oh, it's doing something funny. Oh, I got a circle. Pop somewhere else, come back here. There we go, okay. 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 See if that worked. So we have our exponential form. And I hope by this point, you guys are all in grade 11, that if we have 2 raised to the power of 2, what is the expanded form of that? That just means 2 times 2. Easy, yes? Okay, so that's a nice easy one. And then what we're going to call the standard form. None of these are official titles. They're just so I could have headings at the top of the table. 2 times 2 is equal to 4. Are we liking this so far? Easy peasy math? Yes? Okay. And then there's no real rule for the exponents here, so we're just going to leave that blank. So our exponent rule. We'll go over there. Now, the thing that's a little bit different about science than about math is I might do something like this, and I might put minutes and then put a square on the minutes. So we will be dealing with squares of units as well as squares of numbers. What would that be in expanded form? Do I multiply the 2 by 2? Is the 2 squared? The 2 is, there's no bracket around the 2 minutes. So if there's no bracket around it, this would be different. If I wrote 2 minutes squared, that would mean I'm squaring both the 2 and the minutes, but that's not what we have, so we aren't squaring the 2. We're only squaring the minutes. So that's going to be 2 minutes times minutes is, and then there's no way to write minutes squared other than to write minutes squared. So there, with units, there's not much you can do. You can't like simplify it down to a simpler number. Okay. Now, if we have 2 minutes and now we've stuck the whole thing in brackets, do we cube the 2? Yes, we do. So we would write this out expanded as 2 times 2 times 2. And then we would have minutes times minutes times minutes. 2 times 2 times 2 is, everybody, 8. And minutes is just minutes cubed. Can't do anything else with it. Okay, and the rule here, you don't need to write down the exponent rules necessarily, but this is the rule if you're wondering about it. A times b raised to the power m is equal to a to the power m times b to the power m. I'm not going to be testing you on like what's the exponent rule. I just need you to know like how they work, okay? What if we have a fraction? 1 times 2, and we cube it. What do we do with that? That's going to be a half times a half times a half, or you could write it as 1 times 1 times 1 over 2 times 2 times 2. That seemed to make sense so far? Nothing weird or strange here. So that would end up being 1 over 2, 4, 8, and that's it. Negative 2 to the 4th. Well, 2 to the 4th, I got 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. What do I do with that negative sign? Do I remove it? Does it cancel out? Because it's not in a bracket, the 4 applies to the 2, but the 4 does not apply to the negative sign. Okay, so if it's outside of the bracket, it doesn't count. So we just have the single negative sign, and then we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and so that's going to be negative 2, 4, 8, 16. Okay, and that is as opposed to negative 2 to the 4, which in this case would be negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. And when we do have that bracket there, then they do all cancel out. And you end up with positive 16. Okay? I don't know why I put in the exponent rule column. It's irritating me. You can just ignore it if you want to. Okay? And finally, we're going to have an example here where we have kilograms over meters. And we're going to square the whole thing. So on the top, you would have kilograms times kilograms. And on the bottom, you would have meters times meters, which would just equal kilograms squared over meters squared. And if you're thinking, wow, these seem like really strange units, have you heard of a joule? The unit of energy, a joule? Okay, a joule, J, is actually a kilogram meter squared per second squared. So there are units that are like that weird and complicated and have exponents in them. You're not responsible for knowing that right now, but there you go. And just before I set you free doing this stuff for some practice, let's go over some negative exponents and zero exponent. What does the zero exponent mean? This is on page 106. What does it mean if I raise something to the power of 0? Yeah, it's always just 1. It doesn't matter what goes there, it is always 1. Okay? So 10 to the 0 is 1, 14 to the 0 is 1, 0.7 to the 0 is 1, and kilograms to the 0 is 1. Yes? All right. What do negative exponents mean? Chat with your partner. See if you can remember what it means if you have a negative exponent. So what happens with that negative exponent? If I have x to the negative 1, what does that really mean? It means that we have 1 over x to that same exponent, but it is positive. So it's the reciprocal of the positive exponent. So you can think of a negative exponent as meaning reciprocal. Do you guys know what a reciprocal is? Reciprocal? Reciprocal means turn the fraction upside down, okay? So if we had 2 to the negative 1, that would be 1 over 2 to the 1. If we had 2 to the negative 2, that would be 1 over 2 to the positive 2. Yeah? If we had 2 to the negative 4, that would be 1 over 2 to the 4. And if I had kilograms to the negative 1, that would be 1 over kilograms. And because it would be raised to the power of 1, that would be the same thing as just writing kilograms. Okay? So that's what negative exponents mean. Once you know that, you can expand them just like you did before, right? So obviously 1 over 2 to the 1 is just 1 over 2. 1 over 2 squared is 1 over 2 times 2, right? And 1 over 2 to the 4th would be 1 over 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So we would end up with 1/2. Oh, that's all. No, it's already there. I knew that. 1 over 4. And then 1 over 2, 4, 8, 16. All right. Now, what if we had 2 times 3 to the negative 2? Okay. Who does the negative 2 apply to? Only the 3 because it is not in brackets. Okay, so just to the 3. And so we would have 2 times 1 over 3 squared. Another way of writing that, if you prefer, is going to be 2 over 3 squared, like that. Okay? Either way, it doesn't matter. You will end up with 2 over 3 times 3, which is going to equal 2 over 9, no matter which way you do it. Okay? What if instead we had 3 times 2 to the negative 1 cubed? Ooh, that one's complicated, yes? Who does this 3 end up cubing? Everything in the brackets. So the 3 is going to cube the 3, so that's going to be 3 cubed times. Now, what do you do if there's a 3 on the outside and a 1 on the inside? You multiply those two, okay? So you'll end up with 2 to the negative 3, okay? So if I had, say, for example, 2 to the negative 2, and then I raise that to the 5th, that would equal 2 to the negative how much? 10, because I take the 5 and multiply by the 2. Okay? 6 to the negative 4 squared would equal 6 to the negative 8. Okay? So don't get too wound up if you're like, oh my God, that's a lot of exponent rules. Really what we're doing is I'm having you play with exponents so you can review that, because I know for some of you math was last semester, last year, and it's been a while. And eventually you are going to, after today, we're going to be doing scientific notation. Do you feel like you could do exponents, part A, B, and C, so pages 105 to 107? Do you feel like you could do those? Give them a try, and I'll come around and help you out. If you finish early and you're waiting around for us, yeah, well, exactly, right? So when you finish early, okay, because for some of you, you will finish early, okay? You will want to start on what we will be doing for the rest of the class, which is, I'll just show it to you right now, way back at the beginning of the book that I've skipped over, 1.1a, which is equipment A. Basically, you're going to read this thing and you're going to get out of your seat and go look for equipment so you can figure out its name. There's going to be equipment out here. There's going to be equipment over on this counter. I'll get these books out of the way. Over here, and here. There's equipment down here. There's equipment back here, up here, down here, and over here. It's a bit of a scavenger hunt for you. Okay, so when you are done with exponents, you are going on an equipment scavenger hunt and following the instructions and filling on all the blanks. Okay? Hi. Yeah, for sure. There you go. Wave me over if you're stuck on anything, okay? I will try to come around, but yeah. I can do it. Very nice. I like your help. Oh, yes. Yeah. So for this one, yeah, we do have but the rest of it is on the yeah, and then pull over. Yes, yes. A little confusion on this one. Yeah, those ones are weird, right? Yeah, just like those. Yeah, those ones are strange. So close enough so far? Okay. Okay. I had, you know, so funny, I had also came in at lunch. That I taught him last year. No, I so, but anyway, yeah, I was having a conversation today that's like, doesn't really happen. So I'll try and do better next time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you're doing the scavenger hunt, let me know if there's anything you can't find that can help you out. Ah, okay. So those ones are up the front there. And are they labeled? Yes, they are. Okay. And I'll actually get this out of the way. It's kind of blocking our here. That's right. So these are different. They're, you'll look down on those shelves over there. Okay, yeah. And you'll be like, oh, that's what that picture looks like. Yep. Those, you're gonna look in that back corner there. Oh, aha. Hi. Oh my God, yeah, that's a typo. That should be 10 to the negative 4. Yes. Okay, that's page 62. Let me fix that. Okay. Hi. Okay, so for this one, you're going to read this, and then you'll answer this question. Okay. And then as for what it's called, if you know what it's called, that's great. If you don't, you can look down. You see where people are looking up there? There's some equipment down below the counter and find out what it is. Yeah. Pardon me, during flex time? Just right here. Okay, so I will be here tomorrow and the whole week. If you want to come by after school, if you come by in the first few minutes, so I don't like leave on you, I certainly will. I'm happy to stay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And the answer key to the very last question of the exponents is wrong because apparently I can't type. Okay.
So it's like the typo it shows here is like it just shows a line.
Oh, are you sure the type of? No, it's just pipette again.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't. It tends to be very repetitive, but some of them are really just very, very bad. They really are like, you aren't using it to measure something, you're just using it to go and it'll say get about 100 milliliters, and you're like, okay, what's something carry in your hand, or you're storing it, or you're like, you've got a water bath, so you put some water in, something else inside the water that boils. You don't need to know exactly how it's going to yeah. Hi.
Hi, can I use the washroom?
Absolutely, yes. Hi.
The rat called over there?
Oh, that's a test tube rack.
Test tube, okay.
Yeah. I should have labeled it. I should put up a sign for that right now. Ah, okay. Okay, the Friday one is something different.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have a pen right here. Okay, so you'll be missing the quiz on Wednesday. So if you could come in during flex one of the days.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that works for you?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Pardon me? Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, thank you. Hi.
The answer sheet says it's a 50 ml, but we couldn't find the 50 ml.
Oh, for the Erlenmeyer flask?
Yeah.
I don't think there actually is. I think that's a typo. So,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Get rid of the 50 ml then.
Yeah, I need to get rid of the 50 ml.
Good.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. It doesn't say 50. It says 50 for the beaker. Yeah? Yeah. It's all good. Hi. Fume hood. It gets rid of the fumes.